How to cope with workplace slander. There's an image of David running away from his son Absalom. David had been toppled from his kingdom by his son Absalom. Running as a fugitive, Ziba joined him with foodstuffs which he found handy, and David liked Ziba for bringing him the food. Now that's an adapted image of Ziba taking food to a fugitive David. Perhaps Ziba had looked at a past event where David was running as a fugitive from Saul. Abigail had provided David with the foodstuffs, and when David ascended to the kingdom, he married Abigail. Now that's an image of Abigail when took food to David and his men who were running from Saul. Ziba had gathered from the event that David rewards favor, and he wanted to be in his good books, positioning himself for favors. Ziba knew David was a seasoned fighter that had outsmarted an experienced King Saul. He had been fugitive from Saul, and Saul, with all his powers, was unable to kill him. Therefore, he knew Absalom was no match to David. The kid had never tasted difficulties or major wars. Ziba was taking care of Mephibosheth, Saul's grandson, who was crippled. In order for him to travel, he had to rely on Ziba to prepare a horse or a donkey for him and set him on its back. Therefore, when David saw Ziba alone, he asked where Mephibosheth was. Ziba defended him that he had remained behind since he was sure the Israelites would restore his grandfather's kingdom to him. This angered David. Nevertheless, he was happy with the provisions brought by Ziba. He stripped Mephibosheth all of Saul's property and gave it to Ziba. Slandering is a workplace war as it makes someone hesitate to speak up and defend themselves. Persons who are maligned experience work-related stress and anxiety, just like those who are mobbed. Mobbing involves a group of employees and is systematic over a long time. Slandering is done by just one employee or a few employees just once with enduring repercussions. That's an image of a person being mobbed. The person who maligns others can also be stressed, be anxious, and develop diseases as he is constantly afraid of being found out or his victim retaliating. As maligned person take full leave days and quit the organization consistently misses its targets. The maligning party is always fear, living in fear of retaliation. They are always worried that the innocent party will strike one time, thus affecting their work. Maligning advances vices like tribalism, nepotism, favoritism, and bribery. This makes promotion and hiring to remain in clique activity, and promotions and hiring lack diversity. Promotion is not based on performance appraisal, while hiring is not competitive. It is difficult to prove one is being maligned, since the deciding party would have taken a rigid, one-sided decision. On the onset, I illustrated how David sided with Ziba. The malign should depend on God to vindicate him. Like the psalmist, his prayer should be, Arise, Lord, in your anger. Rise up against the range of my enemies. Awake, my God. Decree justice for me. As maligning thrives mostly in political setting and where vices like tribalism, nepotism, favoritism, and bribery are allowed to thrive, one should set clearly his moral and professional standards. This enables bosses to discover within a short time the other party was slandering. David discovered Ziba was lying and told Mephibosheth that he had given all of his grandfather's property to Ziba. Mephibosheth was not pained with the decision, and he replied that David had already done enough for him. Ziba could keep the property. After all Saul's relatives were to die. David changed his decree and gave Mephibosheth half of Saul's property. This is how damaging maligning is. Your boss may learn later you were slandered. Things would never be the same again. Mephibosheth lost half of his grandfather's property. You may miss that promotion you craved for, or you may stagnate in one position, or you may have been deployed in a department where there's no work, that you are always idle. A maligned person should emulate Mephibosheth. They should not bottle up jealousy in their heart. They should not take revenge, but leave wrath to God. They should not repay evil for evil or insult for insult, but blame those who wrong them. God will avenge for them. To cope with workplace slander, one should work out for at least 30 minutes, 3 days in a week. Have regular workouts at least 3 days per week. This will relieve stress, it will purge one's body of toxins and keep one healthy. You need a strong body to cope with the workplace slander. Take your annual leaves and off duties and rest as much as possible. Do not try to please those who do not like you by working during your leave time. Take your leave, have a vacation, visit a different place, relax your mind. And a very important step to cope with the workplace slander, cast your burdens to God through prayer. It's only God who created you and knows your worth. Consequently, do not slow down. Take care of your health by eating properly and having enough sleep. Cast your burdens to God through prayer and do not brood over the events of the day.
Navigating the workplace wars. Solomon said, I looked and saw all oppression that was taking place under the sun. I saw the tears of the oppressed. And they had no comforter. Power was on the side of the oppressors. We list most nations are not under war or civil strife, and slavery has been greatly eradicated, yet oppression still exists. Solomon ruled a very peaceful Israel. For that reason, the operation is so must have been workplace operation. Why should workplace operation exist at all? King Solomon continues to answer, there is an evil I have seen under the sun, the sort of error that arises from a ruler. Fools are put in many high positions while the wise occupy the low ones. I have seen slaves on horseback while princes go on foot like slaves. You can clearly see that operation exists since human beings are not efficient at allocating resources. King Solomon termed it as an error. That is, persons who do not deserve certain positions at work are given the positions. They become rich and strong. They drive luxury cars. That means being on a horseback. On the other hand, persons who should hold those high offices struggle in life. The human error King Solomon saw results into weak organization structures. Weak organization structures make the wise or the deserving person to have wars at the workplace. Unfortunately, the less deserving ones would have grown so powerful and rich that the deserving ones are oppressed and they have no comfort. Because power is on the side of the oppressors. Weak organization structures are evident when there are frequent transfers or turnover of personnel, which makes it difficult for workers to bond and become familiar with the routine. There is lack of clear goals, which destroy the sense of unity amongst co-workers. The boss is unqualified and insecure. An insecure boss would devote a substantial amount of his time defending his position instead of leading. The staff do not understand where their responsibilities begin and where they end. There is no free flow of information, and hurt feelings remain unattended to. Weak organization structures as a result of man's error breeds jealousy, discrimination, prejudice, anger, and many other vices. While organizations exist to serve an important role in the society and contribute to order and discipline, man is to err. Consequently, some people would still face workplace war even in the most esteemed and prestigious organizations. In my book, Navigating the Workplace Wars, I prescribe ways employees can win or cope with these wars. Download a copy at